Hey, it's Kyle here with Cisco with Cloud. Today we're going to be looking at VLANs. And in this lab, we're going to be looking at how VLANs work and switching and configuring VLANs in a simple little topology. In this topology, we have two hosts right here, and we have four switches. These four switches are broken into two different types of switches. Switches that are called access switches, we'll just call it A. There's an access switch here and an access switch here. Those access switches are called access switches because of being accessed by endpoints. And endpoints are these hosts here. The second segment is distribution switches. Distribution switches, we'll just call them D, is a distribution layer. So distribution layer is usually close to the core, and that core is then connected out to the edge, connecting to the rest of the internet outside of the interwebs. So in this lab, we're configuring what is normally working as a default network that hasn't been really much done to it. It's still in its default native VLAN 1, and we're going to be switching it to a VLAN 99. Well, I'll be showing you the commands on how to do that. So if you're studying for the CCNA, you'll be noticing that this is a partial mesh. Partial mesh is when switches are connected to each other, but not all the ports are being utilized to connect all the switches together. So as you can see over on this side, there's no ports connected to the other access switch. So this is a partial mesh. So that's what the topology. As you can see here, because these access switches are a level 2 device, they're not like a router that's a level 3. So level 3, you can put in IP addresses on the router right away, where with these layer 2 switches, the only way you can do that is using a virtual LAN and creating it as an interface, and that way you're able to then get an IP address on there to then creating targets that you can ping. So here's the lab, and essentially here's the topology. These are the commands that you need to have from first. You can see show running config. That's what will give you this lovely looking thing per device. It will show you the actual account. What is the running setup? When you do make these changes to a switch, you got to do copy running config. And so what that will do is when the router boots back up, it will keep those savings up and running. So going back to it, so some of the major commands that are helpful in this lab exercise is essentially show interface switch port, and then switch port access VLAN. So that's what's crucial. Here is the instructions. Well, let's just go through some of the commands. So what you're going to have to do is create the VLAN. So you just go VLAN 99, VLAN 99, and these are on the access switches. Now let's see if I can bring up this kind of on the side as we kind of go through it. Maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So these VLANs, we're creating these new VLANs. So you need to go into the enable. So this is on PSA 1 here, SW1 here. So how they got into the config is if I go end here and then end, you'll see that end exit. See, so then it's asking for a password. It's Cisco. So then we go enable. And now we get into the config. Now we're into the same kind of prompt here. And then as you can see, it says VLAN 99. We already have that up. So we can go show VLAN brief. Show VLAN brief. You can see that we already have the VLAN created. what's next here? So we got them created, and then what we want to start doing is we want to start putting in the ports in the VLAN 99. So as you can see here, the interfaces here, 01 through 05. That is here, that's these ports here. And essentially what we're doing is we're telling these ports to be on the VLAN 99. Okay. Now, if we send a ping from the host on the left to the host to the right, if all of these ports, let's make it red. If all of these ports are in the VLAN 99, will the packet going from left to right? So essentially it's got to go from down here up to here, up to the host. Will it work? And it will not work, because what's happening is right now we're still halfway configuring this, and what we need to do is also have these ports here, have them in VLAN 99, because essentially these are in 99, these are in 99, VLAN 99, but the other half isn't. So that's essentially what this lab is all about, is that the whole network has to have in its switches VLAN 99, because the packet that's being tagged with VLAN 99 it's being tagged that. So when it goes to that switch, it needs to know where to send it. Because if there is no VLAN 99 on that switch, it's just going to discard the packet. So that's essentially what's happening in this lab. Let's see here. So the other thing here too is that here it's showing to take down the native VLAN and switching it to a 99. So that's where you can see here with my cursor here, we're taking the interface VLAN 1, and we're shutting it down, and we're creating the interface 99 with the IP address, as you can see here, that's been shown in the diagram here. And that's pretty much it. So once we have been able to, let's see here, let's go into here we can draw. So once we created the new VLAN 99 and we crossed and we got rid of VLAN 1, right here, as you can see, that's essentially, we shut them down. The only thing that was up and running was now the VLAN 99 on each switch. And so it's going from the host to the access switch, and then going to the distribution switch, over to the next distribution switch, up to the second access switch, and back up to the host. And then it would just go back the either way if the second host was starting to try to communicate with the host on the left, and so forth. So the big takeaways in this lab on how to create VLANs is switch port access VLAN ID. So the first thing you need to do is create the VLAN. Right here, name VLAN. And then after that is then once you've created a VLAN, then you take those ports and you assign them the VLAN ID. And that was 99 in our case. So that's it. Hopefully that was helpful. Take care.